We're here. We're giving you what you want. Amadeus Cho, Thor, who kicks ass? All I gotta say is, Thor better watch himself.
Okay, so since he started off for us, I'm just going to give a little overview. There's the Incredible Hulk 712. There's a Return to Planet Hulk, right?
Right.
So we're not going to go through the whole story because it's Greg Pak. That's all you need to know, that there's probably a ton of you out there. But we've been doing a series of Hulk versus Thor, and this was another one that just came out, and I've seen a lot of things on this. So in this battle, I'm just going to give you what happens in the battle because everyone's already talking about it. Thor and Hulk go at. Thor has his axe. What's the name? Thor is just hammering with the axe. Bang, bang, right in the face. Hitting him. And Thor's about to do his finishing move. He's got the axe up. He said, I'm sorry. And then Amadeus Cho says, I'm sorry too. And Thor's like, what? What do you mean? And then clobbers Thor. Thor is like cowering on the side. And he's like, what happened? And Amadeus Cho says, oh, it's the rope-a-dope. It's like, oh my gosh. I said, well, that's what you did. You did the rope-a-dope on Thor? So then there's a lot of views showing people how Ali did the rope-a-dope to Foreman, right? But that's not what the rope-a-dope is.
This is true.
The rope-a-dope isn't taking hits to the face and then waiting until someone tires themselves out. Ali, and wait, so this is what we brought. We have a fighter here. We have a person who watched fights, and in the streets he used to fight. So we have some things we can draw on to really deal with this issue. So can you tell us about the rope-a-dope?
Let me hear what you're going to say about the rope-a-dope, because I didn't hear that.
So you asked me, what did I hear? I was watching it, and Ali knew Foreman's strategy, which was to paw, to sort of plant the person where he wants, and then slam with punches. So Ali was countering before that was happening. It wasn't letting him get set. So you can see the early rounds, even the first punch, he throws a lead right hand to counter that. But as it goes along, Foreman is still throwing punches.
Too strong.
So that's why he switches to the rope, but it's not just hanging up the ropes and staying like this.
Right.
He's constantly keeping his arms up to try to stop blows from coming in, to not get hit as much. So he's getting hit in the body more, but the head isn't really getting and then at the same time he's still doing some combinations to the face. So that is happening at the same time. You can't just say the guy's just sitting there like a Rocky movie and just takes a ton of punches and just like, oh, Mr. T is running out of steam. Like, not if you get hit with everything the guy has.
Well, if you're Rocky.
Right.
It's like, right here.
But it works. The strategy works well with someone who knows that the person they're fighting is a puncher, and the puncher is going to punch themselves out. And so the question is just a matter of just lasting time. Yeah, that's basically what it is. If you are a fighter and you're able to, this guy, he's used like Tyson. If you can fight this guy, he's not strong enough to go through all 12 rounds. If you can just outlast him, and you can handle his punches, and that's it. And that's the strategy, basically. Wait until you have enough time, bide your time, and then go after that puncher.
I don't know. Biding your time isn't quite. The rope-a-dope is supposed to be that you wear this guy out by making him expend all of his energy, so that when you unleash yours, it's not even so much you're stronger at this point.
Right.
He's tired,
Exactly.
so he's just not going to be able to defend.
That's what I'm saying. You're biding your time, so that you're coming back.
You can't take hits, though.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful what type of hits you take. You just can't take, like you said, you can't just constantly get, hitting the head and, but enough body.
With the Ali fight, Ali came out and was hitting him with overhand punches, which is like a direct insult if you're a fighter. He was squaring up, and then he was just coming up, bam, bam. He was just hitting him. So, and Foreman was expecting him, he's going to dance, and he's going to do all that, because Ali said, that's what I'm going to do. He didn't do that. Foreman did a good job of cutting him off in the ring, so he eventually gets cornered, and exactly what you said. He puts his guard up so he can shield against any of those really heavy blows to his head. He knows those are going to be devastating. He saw the punches that Foreman was doing on the heavy bag. But, any good fighter knows you can train the body to take more damage than the head. Okay, the body doesn't get dizzy. The head will, if you hit it after a while. And then, again, it was to the point that, what was about the 8th round? It was about the 8th round, I believe, where Ali said, okay, fine, now I'm going to go on the attack. Okay, now I'm going to go on the attack because he had the hope that, this guy had expended enough energy.
You see him looking over.
Yeah.
He had the hope that he had expended enough energy. And mind you, it had to work then because there was no second chance after that because he had to now put everything into knocking this guy out. from what you're telling me with the fight with Amadeus Cho and Thor, this is some bull roar. Okay, that's what this is at the end of the day. Because Thor's, from what you're telling me, Thor's like just landing haymaker after haymaker into his head, okay, smacking them all around, and then when it's time for the coup de grace, he's giving him the one eye open. My turn, like it's what is it? Like what was the movie with Jim Belushi? Like the assistant principal or something, where this guy just literally gets wailed on, and then after he gets after he gets all the nonsense beaten out of him, he smiles, my turn, and then he starts like what? You kept it in a can? Where did this come from? No, automatically ridiculous. And what's even worse, it comes from Greg Pak, who I know is a better writer than this, but he decided to give it because why? It's Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho is his character. That's his creation. And oh God, I have
is
to.
it possible? That's the whole premise.
It's possible for
it's
possible for an elephant to tightrope walk on a piece of dental floss. Okay.
That's not possible. You know that, but this is possible, and that's what we're
In the
saying.
Marvel universe, sure.
Yes. All right. So then that's all we're saying. In this fight, under these conditions, even though Thor may have thrown more haymakers, our man Amadeus Cho was able to kick his ass and lay him out. That's all we're saying. You agree with that premise? That's boom.
That's for you guys that agree with this. I would say the other problem is that when we see, like, I think that's the shooter aspect, is that somehow Iron Man has been alive for 30 years, has learned boxing, and Thor has been alive for, centuries or whatever, has learned no sort of fighting skill. He's just been like hammering.
He's just learned.
No.
He's like, oh, wouldn't he be able to, that's the thing, he's been fighting for most of his life.
Right. But you know what? But you see, it's just like in a boxing match. When you have a boxer who comes out and he knows he's better or stronger or more powerful, he takes things for granted. And then the fighter under him, and remember, Amadeus Cho is one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. Right?
What does that have to do with being a good fighter?
Because he can say, you know what, he studied him and said, this is what I need to do. And then he laid in wait, and got him.
I wish they said that when Bruce Banner had the mind of the Hulk. Because back when they did it in the 80s, everyone was like, oh, Shooter was like, oh, he has no fighting skills. And the secret was Hulk gets knocked away out, or blocks away, and the thing says, oh, he must be a lover boy because he must not be a fighter. No, they already showed how, crafty Bruce Banner could be, and it's like, forget it. I can't do it.
Yeah, the Hulk isn't a fighter. The Hulk was just, literally, he's like rage unleashed. And Banner was in the body. He had all the strength, but he was like, hey, how do I, do this, and how do I do that?
That's the thing. At some point,
and the thing is, he did that later. And the thing is, he did it later on, too, because that very first issue where the Hulk has Bruce Banner's intellect, he was literally beating the snot. He was happy. He was like, yeah, I got all this power in it. And then they started to they ran away from that after that first issue. Because I remember Sasquatch looking at him like, what the hell's going on here? But this fight over here is just malarkey at the end of the day, because we're supposed to believe that Thor can hit this dude, all his strength, or, okay, he's not trying to kill him, I suppose, but he's hitting him, axe to the head, smacking him around, and this does absolutely nothing. It's totally worthwhile. So it's just a waste of time. All it says is just how low Thor is looked upon as a character right now. This is just Thor.
He needs his hammer instead of his axe.
No, what he needs is somebody to write him. What he needs is somebody to write him who actually wants to write Thor, and not whoever the hell this dude is. No shirt, iron nipple, buzz cut. This is the stuff they were doing with Superman, where they wanted to give him a buzz cut and have him riding on a motorcycle all over the country. That's ridiculous.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I would only add
which I have a graded copy of. 9.9 signed by Greg Pak.
If we look at Tyson and Buster Douglas, right?
Who was expected to lose.
But Tyson only threw basically one good shot. But that said that Buster Douglas was a complete bum. That's why he got knocked down by the one shot, that actual good shot that landed. So we saying Thor is a bum, and you can just take one punch?
No, we're not saying that.
That's what he is right now.
We're saying Thor is Foreman. He's great, but he underestimated the intellect and power of Amadeus Cho in this thing. He's one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe.
You've got it wrong. You've got it wrong. If you saw the fight between Ali and Foreman, if this is supposed to be akin to that fight, then who's going to be Ali? Thor. Thor's going to be Ali, the more experienced fighter, the older fighter.
Thor would have been Foreman.
Foreman was younger.
But
Foreman was stronger.
He was expected to win. He was stronger.
This is the same thing we have here.
I think that is a stronger argument, and we're going to have to end on that. Actually, you've got it all mixed up, guys. Thor, the unworthy Thor is your Ali, and Amadeus Cho is the young bull that has to be slain.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell are you people doing to Thor? He should be wiping the floor with this dude.
Yes.
With an axe? I can understand with the hammer, a blunt instrument, okay? But with the axe, we should have like little green fingers all over the place regenerating into baby Thors. This is stupid. I don't like you.
And with that negative comment, we shall leave. Peace out.